When we strip away the pompous proclamations and the arrogant allegations of atheists, we can see atheism for what it really is: weak, illogical, unscientific and worthless. Those who want to say there is no God have to blindly believe that life came from non-life, rather than accept what scientific experimentation has repeatedly concluded over the past 200 years. That is, that in nature, life can only come from life, and that of its own kind. Atheists, those who don't believe there is a God, remain committed to a disproven theory. Mindlessness does not bring forth intelligence. Something has never been seen to come from nothing. Information is always traced back to a mind. Whatever information you have, trace it back. It originates with a mind. This is natural. This is scientific. That has never been disproven. The very basic reason why there's a belief in gods all over the world and throughout history is because it's impossible to imagine the personal arising from the less than personal. When you put petrol in your car and then keep driving it, that petrol will run out. It doesn't keep reproducing itself. You need to refill it. It's perfectly logical to assert that objects don't bring themselves into existence. Therefore, they must have a cause. Now there is a cause, and that cause is God. Either he has always existed, or in his place something inanimate has always existed. But as we know, the inanimate cannot bring forth life or intelligence. Also, there cannot be lots of causes for one single event. Therefore, logically, there cannot be lots of gods bringing about the one creation of the heavens and the earth. There cannot be an infinite number of causes that would bring one thing into existence. Now, since the universe exists, it must have a cause. Therefore, there must be an uncaused cause of all things. Human artifacts, for example, are products of intelligent design. No one would ever say, it just appeared, it just happened. We know because it exists that someone made it and produced it. Therefore, we have to conclude that the universe is a product of intelligent design. But the universe is complex and it's gigantic in comparison to any human artifacts that we could make. Therefore, there probably is a powerful and vastly intelligent designer who created the universe. So then, there can't be lots of gods all bringing about the same event. There can only be one God. And either there is one God or there is not a God. This raises some important questions for those who want to say that there is no God. How do you know there is no God? You can only make an assumption. But what is that based on? Let's imagine that there is an escape room that atheists are in, that is opposed to the idea that in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. Now, in this room that they're trapped in, the only way out is to answer some of these proclamations of atheism. We need to understand that these things can be known and proved in order to state unequivocally that there is no God. First of all, it has to be understood that if there is no God, matter, material things, is eternal. That it's always been and always will be. If you can answer that question, if you can prove that proposition, then you have to understand that life then came from rocks and dirt. Now, the Bible, of course, says that God created man from the ground, but he provided the ground, he created it. That's where it came from. He who always existed made this and then made man from it. Anything that we can make, we can only make out of what already exists. But you've got to know that life came from rocks and dirt in order to get out of this next escape room and into another one, where the proposition is that consciousness came from that which had no consciousness. Can we do that? Does that ring true with you? that consciousness can come from a lump of rock or material. If that can be proved, then you can move into the next room. But to get out of this room, you have to understand or prove that intelligence came from that which had no intelligence. This has never been seen to be done. Information that comes to us from intelligence always goes back to a mind. There is no exception to that rule. But for the atheists to move on with their proclamations and their assumptions to say that there is no God and we can know that there's no God, they have to prove that intelligence came from that which had no intelligence. Having done that, finally they need to prove that human beings came from that which was not human. The missing link is called the missing link because it's missing. There is no big leap. There is no billions of years in which it took a human to develop from that which was not human. It's not been seen, but it's got to be proved in order to say there is no God. You say to me, well, you prove there is a God then. All I'm saying is we have two choices. Either we came from an intelligent being that has always existed, or we came from an inanimate object that has always existed. Which would you choose? Me personally, I believe that in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. If there is no God, that's just an assumption that you've got to make. It can't be proved. Evolution has never been proved. Atheism has never been proved. Can I prove there is a God? I think it's far more reasonable to believe in God. And I think the fact that we have intelligence, that we have information, that we exist at all, is proof that God, an intelligent designer, created the heavens and the earth.